and we're gonna get started. Fantastic. Great. Awesome, everyone. English. We're gonna go into a YouTube live. Haven't been live on YouTube in quite some time, and that's simply the reason because I've been quite busy over the past weeks. Had a lot to do. Team's been growing. We had a lot of meetings. Yeah, a lot of stuff happening, obviously on the business side with 10x, but then also had a lot of other things happening going on. So yeah, just lots of work, and so that's why I didn't have much time on doing YouTube lives. It always has to be a bit secondary, but I think that kind of makes sense also. So today, interesting topic. We're gonna talk about what problem does a blockchain actually solve? And if you're coming in, then drop me a quick line. Let me know where you're coming in from. Always interesting to see. We already have people from Zurich, Austria. Hey, this is English. We're going to do German afterwards. So yeah, let's do English first, everyone. Carlos says, hey, from Argentina. Fantastic. Thomas, hey, morning. Sounds really good. Awesome. Quick thing always at the beginning. Please understand that this is my personal YouTube channel. So obviously, it's a couple of things in there. First of all, this is my personal opinion, which means this doesn't reflect the opinion of 10x or anyone at 10x. This is really my personal opinion. Also, I will not answer questions on 10x here. We have a specific dedicated company channel, and I want to keep these things separate. This allows me, on the one hand, to really work on 10x, but then also make people crypto fit. And this is what this is all about. Yeah, kind of educating and inspiring people in this entire ecosystem of blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and so on. So yeah, just really kind of heads up here. Wow, a lot of people here. Man, cool. Argentina, fantastic. Patricia, good morning. Sounds fantastic. So let's talk about the problem that a blockchain is supposed to be solving. And the reason why I start with the blockchain, with the problem and not with the solution is the following. I see so many companies, so many projects, so many people come up and say, hey, this is what we're doing and this is what we're trying to do. The problem with this is if something doesn't solve a real problem, no one cares. And it was just interesting. I had a couple of talks actually in the past couple of days with people who said, you know, I want to do this. And I said, okay, what's the problem you're trying to solve for this? Well, I'm not trying to solve a problem. I'm just trying to do this. The point being, if you don't really solve, if you don't try to solve an itch, or if you don't try to solve something that's been bugging you and others, no one's going to care. And you're going to have a short-term hype if you're really, really good at marketing. But long-term, you're not going to succeed. And I think this is one of the major questions we have always had with Bitcoin, with cryptocurrencies, and with blockchain. What is the problem that this technology is supposed to be solving? I don't care what it's doing. Let's talk about the real problem here. And this topic also came up. I made a couple of videos where I talked about certain coins. And many people in these communities couldn't handle the criticism I was giving them. And this criticism is 100% legit, and it's exactly down to the point. And they have been denying the facts and the reality. And so I just want to kind of inspire this question first. What's the problem a blockchain is supposed to be solving? Because and then when we talk about the problem, let's talk about other potential solutions to solve this problem. Because if there's 50 other solutions, then the question is going to be, why are we picking blockchain as a solution to solve this problem? Why not choose something else, right? Maybe something exists already that's going to solve this problem. And I think this is really, really relevant, because if we try to solve for something that is not needed to be solved, we don't need blockchain. And basically, and let's bring this problem down. As soon as we talk about the digital world, and we're really going to talk about digital world, we have a massive problem. And that massive problem is that it's pretty much for free to create or delete or alter any kind of information. So if I'm in a physical world and I have something simple like a bottle here, right? And you can just see on the bottle that I'm in Austria right now at my parents' place. So if we just talk about this bottle, to create this bottle costs money. To destroy this bottle costs money. If I just wanted to change the color of this bottle, it costs money. So nothing in the physical world, when it comes to changing or altering anything, is free. So a lot of these things just cost a lot of money. As soon as we talk about the digital world, for me to create a picture on my smartphone, it's pretty much for free once I have this phone, right? I could take 1,000,000 pictures, it's still for free. Once I have a picture and I download an app, and that's also pretty much for free, I can alter this picture in any way I want. And if I just press a little button on my phone, whoop, this picture is deleted. And the same occurs all over the internet, all over these servers, all around. So we have a massive discrepancy when it comes to information that's digital and information that's physical. And so this question becomes, how can we make sure that information that's digital can be trusted so it doesn't get altered? And the only solution that we have had over the past probably 30 to 40 years, because prior to that we didn't have much digital information, was that we had centralized organizations. This could be banks, governments, any kind of companies, anyone to take care of this information. So that's how I got into actually blockchain in 2014. As a medical doctor, I asked myself this question: how could we store patient data? And that's why I always use this example, because this was the example that got me into blockchain and then ultimately into cryptocurrencies. Because I asked myself, how could we store patient data? Well, it's very simple. We have a company, this could be a hospital or a government, and they store this patient data for us. And it makes a lot of sense. But here's the big problem. We have an institution, which is not the patient, so not myself, but this is my personal data, that someone else is storing. Again, this company can create data, can change data, can delete data at no cost. So there's no punishment, or very little punishment, for this company or for this government or for anyone to alter, delete, or create data about myself. But at the end, it affects a lot about me. Just imagine I have an allergy against peanuts, and let's say this company, by accident, deletes the information that I have an allergy against peanuts. And so if I go to a new hospital and they check this patient record, they're like, okay, Julian doesn't have an allergy on peanuts. I eat something or against an antibiotic. So let's say I'm allergic against an antibiotic. They delete this information. They give me this antibiotic and I have an allergic reaction and die. So there's a massive discrepancy when it comes to digital information versus physical information. And so the only way we tried to solve this was having a centralized institution. But this is a massive downside in all kinds of forms. When we talk about logistics, we can talk about electricity, we can talk about data storage, we can talk about digital contracts on the internet, right? So let's say I have a PDF. Well, if I have a Word file, I can alter this Word file afterwards. I can just change the contract. So how can I trust someone, if we have a Word file, that this person doesn't change my digital contract? And when we talk about cryptocurrencies, well, we talk about money. So if I'm an online bank or if I have money, how can I be sure that someone doesn't just create fake money, delete money, change the balance of an account? Well, there always has to be one central institution who takes care of all these things. So here is the major problem. How could we create a digital ecosystem that basically can cover all kinds of things? And I did a lot of brainstorming. At the moment, I see hundreds, literally hundreds of environments where blockchain or where this problem occurs, where the question is, how could we not having to trust a central institution for all this digital information? How can I, as a user, as a participant, as a business partner, stay in 100% control of the data, of the information, of not having to trust anyone else, but all I can do is I can trust myself. So it's not that other people are in charge, actually I'm in charge. Which is kind of in the physical world already the case. I can be in charge because if I have this bottle here with me, I know I'm the only one right now who can destroy this bottle. I'm the only one right now who can color it and change it. I'm the only one who can do this. No one else around the world is in charge of this. I can do it. So how can I do this with digital data? And this is a very relevant information, because as soon as we find a solution to this problem, actually, it would change the entire power structure out there. Because if you think about what has happened over the past 25 years, companies like Google, like Facebook, like many companies that work in the digital age, the reason they are so valuable is because we trust them with this information, with this data. Email addresses, social media, data, finances. it would revolutionize a lot of things. But how could we do this without having to trust someone out there? And this is a massive, massive problem. And so if we sit here and we think about how could we find a solution to this problem, there's actually not many ways how to solve for this problem. And we would understand that one of the most important things is, if we try to solve for this problem, the end result, by definition, has to be that no one, again, is in charge. So that there is complete levelness of every participant in there. Because as soon as, again, we have someone who's more valuable, more important than someone else, then why not go to the solution as we have already, where one party, one company is in charge? And basically, if you look at what happened in 2008, 2009, when Satoshi Nakamoto proposed this idea of a blockchain, in this case for Bitcoin for finances, this was actually the very first time that such a solution was proposed, how everyone could be in charge and everyone could be leveled. And he proposed by making sure that basically, and that's how it works, is that every participant keeps a copy of the digital file of what is happening in the entire community. So in the finance world, every participant keeps a copy of all the transactions that are ever being sent. Let's say we do a contract, instead of just two parties having the contract, everyone keeps a copy of the contract of everyone else. If we talk about patient data, everyone stores everyone's patient's data. But here's the important part. Only the people who actually created the info are able to alter the info with their own password, with their private key. This is how we can be sure that the information cannot be altered, because you need the password, you need the private key to alter the information on the blockchain. So while everyone can check it and audit it, only the people who created the original information are the ones who can alter it. But as soon as I alter it, everyone sees that I'm altering the information. So basically, I'm altering the balance that I have with Bitcoin. I'm altering a smart contract on Ethereum. I'm altering patient information on a patient blockchain. I'm altering some logistic blockchain. I'm altering whatever, any kind of tokenization. And here comes, though, the big problem with this. And that's what I see as many companies faulting at the moment. As soon as I don't solve for the original problem, so which means censorship resistance, which means no centralization, which means everyone is equal in the playing field. As soon as I try to solve for something else, as soon as I try to solve for speed, or I try to solve for scalability, because obviously if everyone is leveled, everyone is equal, and there's a lot of participants, the system becomes slow, the system becomes kind of, a bit, it doesn't scale as well, because you need to update the system, right? So you have some limitations in the system. As soon as you try to solve for this, the major first question you have to ask yourself, am I actually still solving for the right problem? Or would it not just make sense to just throw away the blockchain and just go again to an original system as a company, where the company's in charge, which has been working for the past couple decades perfectly, right? We have had very little problems with most of these companies. And that is where I see massive problems happening right now, with many new blockchains coming into this space and trying to sell people for being stupid because they don't understand what the actual problem is a blockchain is supposed to be solving, and they try to market themselves as these high-speed, high scalability, high-performance blockchains, where this is not what they should be solving for. The first major question is, is there a possibility to kind of centralize this blockchain? Or how decentralized is the blockchain? Is everyone in the same level field? What are the game theoretical consequences of people participating in this hopefully equal playing field? And this is where I see massive challenges for probably 99% of all the blockchains at the moment, because they're trying to solve for something else. And then the major question comes, why have a blockchain in the first place? I know the answer. The reason they do a blockchain is because it's a hype word. It's like the same as a .com in 20 years ago. Just because you had a .com, your company went up. But there was no value, and it took a couple of years, and then people understood this, and boop, it popped. And this is something that I really want to just kind of throw out. And I hope that when you watch this video, you kind of reflect in all the blockchains, all the coins, all the things you are investing. Why are you investing into those? Are you investing into those because you're just looking for short-term pumps? That's up to you. That's absolutely fine. If you're a trader and you look for these short-term things, absolutely okay. But be aware that these blockchains, so-called blockchains, that are actually no blockchains, that are centralized groups, that they will disappear over the next couple of years because there's no reason for them to be there. They are not solving a real problem. The foundation of a problem has to solve for centralization. So how can I create a system where no one is in charge, but we can still trust each other? Or we don't necessarily have to trust each other, but trust the system. Even though no one is in charge and no one is there to store all the data because everyone is storing the data. So this has to be the major foundation. And I only see a handful of blockchains right now who are actually doing this. And they're doing this quite well. I know they're not scaling really well right now, but at least they're solving for this massive problem. And the majority of the other blockchains, 99%, are either just copying those blockchains, or because they don't want to copy, they try to create some marketing hype by being more efficient, by being faster, and so on. But going for scalability and speed, build a company. You're going to be way better. The reason they're not doing this is because their business proposal is actually bullshit. And in a normal business environment, no one would give them money. No one would support them. But because they have the term blockchain, they're going to succeed. And they're not succeeding. They get money because they get the attention. And in a long-term perspective, this is so important to understand. Now, obviously, the major question is going to be, if we have this solid foundation of a blockchain, how can we ever get scalability and how can we ever get scale? Well, I think no one knows the right answers to this yet. And my personal opinion is going to be second or third layer solutions where you have peer-to-peer channels, similar like Lightning, something we're working on with Comet. We should be getting the first version out of Comet this month, actually. That's going to be quite exciting. Looking forward to have some kind of prototype version out there for you. But these are all going to be solutions where we believe that this has to be the foundation, the most basic layer that cannot be fuddled with. It has to be the blockchain. Because let's put it into another perspective. Let's say you're working on a blockchain that's solving already for speed, for scalability, but there might be censorship on this blockchain. Let's say this censorship party takes over and censorships. I mean, anything is possible as soon as you have the censorship. Where do you escape to? You can't escape. You have to leave the blockchain. And this is the end. So you can't. At the end, you need to have a solution, a system where the most fundamental layer is actually not ever needed to be left. Like, yes, in the worst case, it's going to take really long and it's quite slow to update this basic layer, but at least there's always this basic trust. And from there we can work on top and we can build up higher with better speed, with rules and so on. The most fundamental layer has to be solving for the most important problem, which is censorship resistance, which is getting away from one party being in charge. And I hope this kind of makes sense. And if it does, let me know in the comments below. Please share this video. Give a thumbs up to this video if this really makes sense to you. Because it is such an essential misunderstanding by many people on what the actual problem is a blockchain should be solving. And trust me, I have arguments on Twitter with some of the lead developers of some projects who don't understand these concepts. And I personally think they do understand that. But on purpose, they argue against it because otherwise their project that they're working on is completely redundant. And I personally think 99% of the projects are redundant. They're pointless. There's no reason to create a blockchain just to create a blockchain if you're not solving for some fundamental problem. And that's the most interesting question. What is the real problem you are actually solving? And if you want, you can post in the comments a project that you support, that you believe in, and let me know what the problem is that this project is supposed to be solving. Don't talk about the solution. Talk about the actual problem. Highlight the problem. If you believe in Bitcoin, tell me the problem that in your opinion Bitcoin is solving. If you believe in EOS, what's the problem that EOS is solving? If you believe in Ethereum, what's the problem? NEO, what's the problem? IOTA, what's the problem? And then I think it's going to get very interesting to understand if this is the problem, is the solution that you believe in this case the coin, is that actually a good solution for this problem? Or are there 50 other solutions as well? And how does your solution rack up to the other 49 solutions? Because only then you're going to become actually not only a speculator who's short-term gambling, but you have a long-term perspective on these projects that you want to invest in. And I think very few people, probably less than 1% right now in the ecosystem of cryptocurrencies and blockchains understand this and actually act this way. And that's why the market are so emotional, so volatile, because people don't really know what to look for. They don't understand what's being solved for. And I see this as a massive, massive challenge. So let me know this in the comments below. If you get value out of this, obviously I always love if you give me some feedback. If you subscribe to the channel, you're gonna get regular updates of this. And yeah, let me know what you think. So with this, hey, enjoy your weekend. Have a really good Saturday. I hope over the next couple of days, I'm traveling insanely all through Europe. We have a lot of stuff going on. Lots of events for 10X, lots of events also for European Union, where I'm a blockchain advisor now. So there's a lot of stuff happening, but we're gonna have some really great news coming up. So with this, enjoy it. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.